as I promised, I'm going to be looking at another dash camera this week with a feature not seen in any other Bluetooth tracker, I meant dash cam. And it's called the Owl. Let's check it out. Welcome back, guys. Yes, I like to do a lot of Bluetooth trackers. This is a dash camera doing something new. Get it straight. This dash camera has something not seen in any other dash camera. What if I told you that it's pretty much almost similar to the other dash camera, but then you add the ability to be able to look at the footage remotely from your phone at any time that you want. That's right, guys, the Owl, which has dual facing HD cameras just like the other one did, but you can tune in at any time that you want to and access the footage from your cell phone because the Owl dash cam itself has a 4G LTE connection. Let's go ahead and jump into the unboxing. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed without even unboxing this yet, just the weight of it and the feel of it. And you get a nice little letter from the CEO, Andy Hodge. Doing a little research on him, I found out that he was the vice president at Dropcam, which was one of the very first home cameras that had video cloud storage. I actually have 3 of them, and they were eventually bought out by Nest, and then Google bought Nest. So it definitely was a great company, great product, and now Andy Hodge is at Owl. This is Owl Cam 2, so there was a one out there. Not too much information, the difference between the first one and the second one. But I'm going to continue looking, and if I can find a spec sheet on the first one, I would definitely leave a link down in the description below. Inside the box, you'll get a quick start guide, 4 Owl decals that you can place on your windows if you want to. I'm definitely not going to be doing that. You get the Owl Cam itself, which we'll talk about the specs and that in a moment. You get the OBD power adapter, which I noticed from the very first version to this one, they went from a proprietary magnetic connection to a USB-C connection, so definitely plus there. You get the suction cup beam and 4 different size tails, which we'll go in detail about that in a moment. You get a tuck stick, so you can tuck in the wires, which is very, very useful, and 4 bendable cable ties. And now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the camera itself, since that is most important. Comes with a 2.4 LCD touch display and a bunch of other statistics which I put on the screen, which is not too important to me, so I'm not just going to point them out. The inside camera is 720p with 120-degree field of vision. It also has dual microphones, which we will definitely test later, and it also has dual white LEDs, which will turn on if it detects motion, which is very cool. And now moving to the outside camera, which is a 1440p camera, so it's a little bit better, but pretty much has the same specs with 120-degree field of vision. On top, you do have a RGB anti-theft security beacon, and on the bottom you have the speaker, the magnetic ball joint, and also the USB plug. On the sides, you do have 2 fan vents and the reset button on the right hand side. Now, all these specs are good and dandy, but they're really just numbers on a piece of paper. I will be testing these all out and giving some pros and cons on all these specs, so definitely stay tuned. But before we do that, let's go ahead and install this into my car. First things first, if you want to find that OBD port, which is usually under the driver's side steering wheel on the left side of the car in the United States. If you're in the UK, like my boy Crypto, it's going to be on the right side of the car. Go ahead and plug this bad boy in. So you get a nice little green blinking light. And then you want to start securing this cable using those wire ties. And once you're all the way to the edge of the car, start looking for maybe like door garments or little cracks, anywhere you can tuck this wire into. Now, I was quite surprised how thin this wire was, so I was definitely able to put it places where I didn't think I was. I just had to push a little bit harder. Even next to my speaker grill where that was super tight, but I was definitely able to get it in there. I thought I was going to have to stick out and have that wire shown, but I was able to do it. And once you get up to the windshield, you're pretty much on your home stretch. Once you get up to the windshield, go ahead and just lay this across the whole dash and just go ahead and tuck this into that little crevice. It's super easy. Go ahead past the center of the dash, even if you have an extra wire, and then go ahead, break out the suction cup mount and tail. And at the end of the USB wire, you'll see a little tiny ball. You want to go ahead and push that into a little designated spot. and then run the wire alongside the suction cup mount and the tail, and you'll see that it's outlined exactly where it's supposed to go. Once you do that, go ahead and push the tail into the crevice between the windshield and the dash. Don't worry, you're not going to break anything. Just push it in there slowly, and then just push up and put the suction cup right onto the windshield, and then lock down the suction cup. Go ahead, break out that tuck tool one more time and push in the remaining wire in between the dash and the windshield. Go ahead, break out that camera, plug in the USB wire, and snap on the camera onto the little magnetic ball joint. And just like that, it's going to start booting up. Let's go ahead and connect this to the app. Go ahead and download the app in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Make a username and password and just follow the prompts. Eventually, it will ask you to scan the QR code that's on the screen. And just like that, the pairing is successful. Boom, there you go. We got both cameras up and running. And if it happens to do this thing, just let it do its thing, let it update its firmware and reboot. It'll be right back up. And now going into the app, first thing you're going to see is a map of where the owl cam or where your car is currently located. Now, I changed this map just for my privacy. And when it came down to the refresh rate of the GPS, in my testing, it was about 1 to 2 minutes. I would say most often it's about 1 minute. And the pinpoint of the location was pretty close, give or take, 30 to 60 feet. So in my opinion, GPS location is all right. You can see the cameras are now loading. It's not instantaneous, but it's pretty quick. It does take anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds for footage to upload, but it does pretty well in my opinion for a 4G network. Talk about more about the cameras and the screen in a minute, but let's go ahead and go back into the app. In the menu, you'll see how many credits that you have left. You are credited 60 credits every month. That's actual minutes. Now, if you use it for less than a minute and you just go in there, check something out, you're still charged 1 minute, unfortunately. And if you have to buy more, it does cost you $4.99 per month. That sounds expensive, but the thing is that you're really not going to use that many credits. You're going to be charged credits anytime that you go in there and look at footage over 4G, or if you use the
presto
feature, which we'll discuss in a minute. Going back into the app and under camera settings, you do have a couple options like guard mode, which is just a parking mode. Because your camera is plugged into the OBD port, you can select how long the camera is going to guard your car. Now, this is just going to monitor motion, and if it does pick up any motion, it's going to turn on the cameras and start recording and send you a notification. Now, you can keep this up for 3 days or 72 hours if you want to. After that, it's going to turn off, and it's also going to monitor the battery. So even if it gets within, say it only runs for 12 hours, but the battery is running low because your battery is going bad, it will go ahead and shut down the camera just to save the battery.
Next setting down is the loop recording. You have the option of looping that footage every 30 seconds, 24 hours, or maximum. And this is where I have an issue. They advertise on their websites, on Amazon, on their packaging that has a 14-day video loop. On their website, they do mention that it can go up to 14 days depending on how much you drive. Well, I drive on average about an hour a day, and my recording that I'm able to see back is 2 days. That is it. After 2 days, all the footage is gone. Now, if I save it and download it to my favorites or my list, then it's still there. But my general video history is gone after 2 days.
And that's pretty much all the settings that you currently have. Now, you can access the footage a couple different ways. To do so, click on the car cam, and then you'll have 3 different ways: live view, history, and direct view if you're within Wi-Fi connectivity range. Live view is pretty cool if you have like a teen driver and you just want to drop in on them. You can definitely check out where they are. You can see the inside camera and the outside camera. And as long as they don't have the inside camera off, you can also hear them and talk to them at the same time. Hello? Which is very cool.
Hello.
Now, it's not going to notify you if they're speeding or anything like that. So understand this is pretty much just a simple drop-in.
And then the next option is the direct connect over 4G, and this will start using your 60 minutes that you're allowed every month. Now, even if you're not near the camera, you can do this anywhere where your cell phone has cellular service and your camera also has 4G service. Now, this will use your minutes, and it does take a little while, as you can see here. But once you're in there, you can scrub through the footage. Now, remember, it only goes back less than 2 days. You can see the inside view, the outside view, and you can download 5-minute clips if you need to. And then the third and final option is your Wi-Fi Direct Connect. What I really like about this is, one, it does not use your minutes, and two, it's actually a direct Wi-Fi. You don't need to connect this to your home Wi-Fi. You don't need to be at home to be able to connect and download that footage. It has its own Wi-Fi where you just tell it to go ahead and automatically connect. It will connect automatically. You can scrub through the footage and then download whatever you need, which is really cool. And it's the way that I've been getting all this footage off the camera. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it can definitely be done if you need to. And having all these options to connect to your camera is amazing, especially the 4G. It's not seen in any other dash camera out there. You will be paying a service fee after the first year of $99 per year or $10 a month, which you don't need to do. You just have to connect to the camera via Wi-Fi. Now, in my mind, this thing is amazing. When you're parking your car, it's going to be watching your car. It's going to pick up motion and send you notifications and any footage. Now, I'm taking this one step further, is if someone does break into your car, you get footage and you get notification, and even if they steal a camera, you have all this footage. And per the OWL website, they will replace the camera for free if you meet some requirements. One is a police report, the other one is the video footage. I forget what the third one was, but it wasn't important. So in my head, I wanted to see if this was possible because I knew that there was some delay between the footage being recorded and being uploaded, and then you would have to access that footage off the camera from your phone. So because there's no cloud storage, where is that footage going to if someone happens to unplug the camera? Well, I tested this, and unfortunately, because there's no cloud storage and because there's no battery backup, if someone gets into your car fast enough and unplugs it, you're out of luck. Now, you might get lucky and you might get a still photo of them breaking in, but in my testing, I waited 30 seconds before I unplugged it, and the still photo that I received did not have me in there. So just an FYI that if you're using this and people pick up on what this camera is, they can definitely still steal it, and you might not be able to catch them. And per the requirements on the OWL website, you will not meet the requirements to get a new one. So hopefully they change that. But one thing they don't need to change is their dual video screen. So you have both cameras in one screen. And what I really like is the ability to turn off that inside camera and the microphone just with a swipe down. And just like that, it is turned off, and just with a swipe up, you can turn it right back on. Also built into the camera, you can adjust the brightness, the volume. You can turn on and off that camera with a toggle switch. You can turn off the display. And you have the ability to tap to create clip for those who might have a disability. But if you can say the words okay presto, it's really cool that you can record clips in a moment's notice. So like I did earlier, someone went around me, went across the double yellow lines at probably double the speed limit, and I thought that was a good clip to make. So I just said the words okay presto, and it made a nice little clip. Now, it does use 1 minute of your 60-minute allowance, so you don't want to use it too often, but it's really cool. In a moment's notice, you can make a clip. A nice feature that's not seen in any other dash camera is a crash response. Now, this is very similar to maybe services like OnStar that a lot of cars have, but this is built into the dash camera. And if the dash camera thinks that you've been in an accident, it will ask you if you're okay, if you need help, and if you don't respond, the service will call 911 for you and get medical services out to your location. Now, unfortunately, there is a additional fee for this. Per their website, it's going to be $79 a year or $7.99 a month, which might be worth it for that peace of mind. Now, when you're spending $350 for a dash camera, $99 for a service, and then an additional $79 for another service, this gets to be really expensive for a dash camera, and you expect some great dash footage. So let's go ahead and check out the front camera. Your first see here is me driving into the sun, because that's where a lot of dash cameras have issues. Now, it doesn't claim to have HDR, but it does pretty well. Comparing this to last week's Ventrue, which does claim to have HDR, just for comparison, you can see the difference. And now, since the OwlCam also claims they can read license plates, we're going to be coming to the stop and zooming in at the same time to see when we can actually read the license plate. I'm going to freeze it right there. And now comparing this to the Ventrue that we looked at last week, doing the exact same scene and zooming in, and now we're going to freeze it. And here's the Owl, and here's the Ventrue. Now we're going to move on to some night driving and let you guys decide what you guys think. And now we're going to move on to the inside camera during the day. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this footage. And now we're going to go inside at night.
Now I'm driving through an area that's pretty much lit up with street lights. This is the footage of the inside. Hopefully you guys can see me waving my hand. You can see it's pretty dark. There's really not many street lights. There's a couple I'm about to pass, so there you go. Now you can see me. But because there's no infrared lights, you really can't see what's going on the inside. I want to hear from you guys. Is that footage good enough for a $350 dash cam? Let me know down in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're brand new, I hope you will consider subscribing by pressing this blue circle. Make sure you check out the Ventrue N2 Pro dash camera review right there. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.